Hello again, Dezz Asante here from the Tech Muse Academy with another mixlessons.com video quick tip. This one comes as a response to a question from a fellow Gear Sluts member named Sonic Beast. And he writes in, he says, "Hi there," he says, "I recorded some super close mic'd vocals and finger picking acoustic guitars, and it sounds really nice, except now that I've lived with these tracks for a while, I really want to move them a bit away without making it sound reverb-ish. Any ideas on how this can be achieved?" So basically what he's trying to accomplish is to take an element in his mix and push it back along the depth dimension. Those of you who followed me for a while know that I talk a lot about three-dimensional mixing, the concept of placing your audio elements within the three spatial dimensions, even though you only have two speakers. You've got your panorama left to right, you've got your vertical plane, which is dealt with by frequency content, and you've got your depth dimension. If you want to learn a little bit more of that, go on over to mixlessons.com and throw your name in on the email list for the free video training series that I've put together there, because I do go into great depth on those topics. But essentially what he's referring to is the depth dimension. So there's a couple of ways that you can make something appear near or far from the listener. And he's right that reverb is definitely a component in that, but it's not the only thing to consider. Where this is a common sort of rookie mistake where you want something to seem grand and deep, and so you just crank up the reverb send or extend the reverb tail or something like that. Now, the thing to consider is that that's only one aspect of the way psychoacoustically we perceive depth and distance, that is. If you think about the laws of physics, the further something away is from you, the listener, the sound is now traveling further to reach your ear. And a couple of things happen. First of all, high frequencies, which are very short wavelengths and very low energy, tend to disappear quicker than low frequencies. This is the same concept behind why someone would use a very low, deep tone as a foghorn. A foghorn out on the ocean is designed to stretch the sound as far as possible so that it can be heard with the greatest distance. And the reason why they choose a low bassy tone is because those high energy, long wavelength frequencies tend to travel farther before they lose their energy. So if you think about that, a sound, as it moves further away, the high frequencies stop reaching your ear. And so a way to recreate that in our studios is to simply roll off some of the high end, which will simulate that same physical event that takes place. Okay. The other thing is of course, the further away the sound is from the listener, the ratio of the direct signal to the ambient signal, the reverb in the space, in the room, or what have you, is going to be closer together. So if a signal is very close to you, the direct signal is going to be much, much louder than the ambient reflections from the space that the signal exists in. Okay. So if you want something to appear further back, then of course you want to reduce the level of the direct signal in comparison to the reverb signal, for lack of a better term. So as opposed to turning up your reverb or making the reverb louder in the mix, what you want to do is change the ratio between the direct signal, the wet and the dry, right? The direct signal and the reverberated signal. Okay, so we've got two things so far. Roll off some high frequencies because those tend to not reach you the further away a sound is, and alter the ratio between the direct signal and the reverb signal. And then the last thing is simply common sense. The further away a sound is, the quieter it is, the lower the energy the sound waves have by the time they reach your ear. So simply turn the fader down a little bit in relationship to what's around it in the mix. So if you were to apply these three things, you would experience a sense of pushing an element further back in the mix. So just to recap, you want to push something back, turn it down a little bit, adjust the wet-dry ratio to the reverb, the direct signal versus the ambient signal, and then roll off a little bit of high frequency. And this will have a tendency to cause the listener to feel as though that signal is further away. And of course, this can be further accentuated by having a contrasting element in the mix, something that doesn't have these effects, these techniques applied to it, so that the listener has a sense of a reference reference point for something that's near and something that's far. So in the case of Sonic Beast here on Gearslutz with his acoustic guitar and vocals, he might consider making those vocals up front by of course not applying these techniques, and then that comparison, that relationship between that and the treated acoustic guitars will further solidify the sense of depth. So I hope that helps, and we'll see you on the next quick tip.